All right, what up, folks? It's your man, 100 Days of Summer. In this video, I want to talk about what I believe is the actual original sin that caused the fall of man. Once I started seeing things this way, I experienced a level of freedom that is unmatched according to how I believed things before. So I love to share this kind of stuff because anything that stops my suffering and brings me freedom, I'm going to share it freely on my page. That's what I like to do. That's my goal of having this page in the first place. All right, so we're gonna look at things, and of course it's gonna be a bit different than what you've typically heard, but I ask that you bear with me if you're willing to until the end of the video, and hopefully it'll make sense by then. Hopefully you will also experience that same level of freedom that I did once I saw things this way. All right, so let's jump right into Proverbs 13:12. Let's start there first. Okay, so hope deferred makes the heart sick, but when the desire comes, it is a tree of life. So what was Adam denied access to when he was kicked out of the garden? Or why was he kicked out of the garden? He was kicked out of the garden so that he wouldn't have access to the tree of life. Okay, so you can look at that and realize that what Adam was denied his desires being fulfilled, the ability to manifest his desires. Instead, he was placed into a state of hopes being deferred, which makes the heart sick. So not being able to manifest your desires, not being able to create the life that you want, not being able to, it's like what Paul said, right? The good that I want to do, I don't do, and the evil that I don't want to do, I do. Being stuck in that place is also hope deferred, which makes the heart sick. All right, so that is a state of being opposite to what Adam previously was, where the desires are fulfilled. Right? When you look at, and we're gonna look at this specifically, but I want to kind of run through it. When you look at Adam was in a garden first. Well, he was not in the garden first. He was outside of the garden, then placed in the garden. What is a garden? A garden is a place where what you want to grow grows where you want it to grow in an organized way. That speaks of a person who has self-mastery, somebody that can actually manifest the life and desires that they desire, that they want. Then he was kicked out of the garden and he was put back to where he came from. In that place, it says that the ground won't yield to you. It'll be tough, and thorns and thistles it'll bear. That ground is what he was made from. That ground is him. That's another state of being. That the thorns and thistles are when you're trying to manifest your desires and you get something else instead. Jesus says that the thorns and thistles were symbolic of the cares of this world. So it's about being human and not being spiritual, but we'll get to that in a second. But that place, it says that he would have to eat bread by the sweat of his brow, which is the opposite of in the garden, which it was the cool of the day. You see, there are two different states of being. So it's really, really important that we look at how he got to his hopes being deferred and making the heart sick, because that's really what the world is today. If you watch my video about Babylon, that's what the world is today. We have a bunch of blueprints. They told us this was education and blueprints, but actually it was indoctrination and marketing campaigns. So we've been applying them, and they've been taking us over here when we're trying to get there. This is not an actual blueprint. This is a hamster wheel designed to keep you as a customer, designed to keep you in a low vibration so that you can be manipulated easily. That's what Babylon is. They tell you that if you follow this roadmap, it'll get you to Z, and then you end up over there. That is the literal definition of sin, to miss the mark. People think sin is drinking and smoking and stuff like that. No, sin means to miss the mark. You're trying to get to Z and you end up over there. The word sin means literally miss and mark. The word mark is an ox head and a thing that looks like a cross, right? So what they would do, what farmers would do is they would plow their fields, like make furrows where they would plant the seeds. In the fields, they would need to make straight lines. So in order to do that, you would put a mark up in the distance, and then you could use that to guide your ox to that mark so that you would have straight lines. So when it says, go on a straight and narrow or the straight path and don't veer to the left or the right, that's what it means. The distance, if you end up over here and not at the mark, the distance from where you're at to the mark, that is the definition of sin. So hope deferred makes the heart sick is because the world is in sin, but not in the way that people think, in the sense that people don't know how to manifest their actual desires. And they're in a state that blocks them from doing so. And we're going to look at that a little bit deeper. So let's go to Genesis 2, and we're going to the last verse of Genesis 2, because there's something important that is pointed out here.